Hi, this is Bishop Tom Dowd here with another teaching video, Catholic Teaching in 10 minutes or less. In this video, I would like to start to explore with you an extremely important subject for understanding Christianity, and that is the subject of salvation. Now, I said we're going to begin to explore it because this topic is huge. We can't possibly do this one in 10 minutes or less, so I'm breaking it into different parts. In this first part, I thought we could start with something a little fun, and that is to explore together a very ancient Christian symbol, and that is the symbol of the Jesus fish, which some of you may have seen. There's another related ancient Christian symbol, which is the Jesus wheel. That one we see a little bit less of today, but still it contains the same ideas and will highlight for us the importance of Christian teaching. What were the really essential elements of Christian teaching for our earliest ancestors, the earliest Christians? So the Jesus fish, I'm sure many of us have seen it. It's very simple. It's just two curved lines. So you draw an upper curve like this, and then you do a lower curve like that. And you can see immediately, look, I have no ability to draw, but even I can draw a fish based on just two curved lines. That's the head of the fish, that's the tail of the fish. We see right away it's a fish. But believe it or not, it's not just a fish. This is a very ancient symbol for Jesus. The earliest Christians used this as a symbol for Jesus because the Greek word for fish was the word ichthys. So I'm transliterating it. I'm putting it in our alphabet. I-C-H-T-H-Y-S. Ichthys. There's actually a branch of science, the study of fish, which is called ichthyology. And so it's related to that Greek word. It comes from the Greek word for fish. But if you take this phrase, Jesus Christ, God's Son, Savior, and you put it in Greek it's Jesus Christus Theou Ios Soter, look what happens if you take the first letters of those words. You get ichthys, the word for fish. Now, some of you may be saying, Bishop Tom, you cheated. CH and TH are actually two letters, not one. But in Greek, there was one letter for what we use two letters for now in English. So the Greek letter, well, for the I, it looks the same. The Greek letter looks the same. For the CH, that's the Greek letter chi, so it looks like an X. The TH is the Greek letter theta, so it's a circle with a bar through it. Then the Greek letter for that starts the word Eos looks like a Y. And then finally, the S is the Greek letter sigma. So in our alphabet, it looks like the letter E, but in the Greek alphabet, it's actually pronounced like S. So 5 letters, 5 concepts. When they drew the fish, they weren't just drawing a fish, and it wasn't just a symbol of Jesus, it was a statement of faith. They were saying, this is what we believe about Jesus. The earliest Christians, like really early, 2nd century, 3rd century, were already drawing the symbol to express this faith. They were saying, here are the things we believe about Jesus that are so essential, we want to be able to wrap it up in an easy-to-use symbol. That there was a guy named Jesus, that he was the anointed one of God, the Christ, the Messiah. More than that, he was the Son of God, God's Son. That's his divine nature. And finally, that he's the Savior. This idea of salvation was so important for the early Christians. They put it at the same level as these other statements of faith about Jesus. And it gets even better because you see it in the fish symbol, but you also see it in the other symbol I mentioned, the symbol of the wheel. So what does a wheel look like? Well, for this symbol, it's very simple. It's a circle, and then you draw the spokes. So you have these spokes going through it. Okay, very, very easy to draw. But now, take a look at these letters. You can find them in the wheel. So I'll do it in another color. The center, that's the letter I, or what we write as I, the initial letter. Then you have the Greek letter for CH, the chi. So that goes down the X. And then you have the TH letter, which is the circle with a bar through it. So right away, we've got the symbol of the wheel just by superimposing those different letters. But you can go further. For the word sun, which starts with what looks like the letter Y, so you can find that here in the wheel as well, by those two bars at the top and the one descending. And finally, the sigma, which is the trickiest one to find, but you'll see it right away. Goes around the top, comes down that bar, comes down this one, and then loops around the bottom. The wheel is also a profession of faith about Jesus. It's the same profession of faith about Jesus. These two symbols, they don't look anything like each other, but they're obviously expressions of something really, really important for the early Christians. What were they trying to pass on? I mean, you could picture these being used in whatever the equivalent of Sunday school was that they had, teaching little kids about the faith. You draw a picture, you explain it, you've got this pattern of letters with words that help people to remember it. What were the things they wanted us to remember? Jesus is the Christ, the Messiah, the Anointed One. He's God's Son, and He's the Savior. So if Him being Savior was so important for the early Christians, well, we need to understand what the concept means. Because obviously, it raises a question. Jesus is the Savior? Saves us from what? What is this thing that we need to be saved from? What is, and how does it work? How does the salvation come to us in the first place? These are really important questions, and that's why we need more than one video to explore it. So this is just part one. In further parts, we're going to break open the concept of salvation and hopefully see how great and wonderful this is. For the early Christians, their sense of salvation and Jesus as their Savior was not just part of their faith, it gave them hope. It motivated them to be people of charity. It inspired joy in their hearts and in their lives. And I'm hoping that by discovering this element of Christian teaching for us, we can benefit in the same way. So please stay tuned for more teaching on the subject of salvation. God bless you.